All right, I'm talking to Tony Barbone, the APU baseball legend, and he coached Scott Winterburn. Did Scott ever play for you?
He did. I coached him a couple different capacities. I coached him when I started with Skip at Citrus, and then he left on a scholarship to go to Texas A&M.
Got hurt.
He was hurt, and he had a tough time with the whole business of Division One at the time. And I kind of coached him up on the phone all year, and just to hang in there and not leave school. And we it's what started our relationship. We got a little bit stronger. We had a very good one when I coached at Citrus, and then he came and played for us his senior year at Zeus Pacific, and he was an All-American. And the story goes on from there, Brian. But he's just a great story.
So then he coaches for 10 years for you, and now he's finished his 22nd year at Laverne. He's passed the 500 win plateau. Um, how early on did you realize? I talked to Skip, a friend and colleague of yours, just before I came over here, and he said he could tell early on that Scott had a lot of the qualities needed to be successful as a coach. And you guys are two of the best coaches in the history of the San Gabriel Valley baseball. What did you see early on with Scott in terms of being a leader?
Well, I think two things stand out. One is he's extremely passionate. Okay, and that passion think led to the acumen that he presents in the game. Really intelligent guy, just great recall, and just always trying to find a way to be better at something or do something better. He's a tremendous craftsman outside the baseball field. He can build anything, he can fix anything, and that energy that he would take to help me. I remember as an early homeowner, he helped me move into my very first home, and with his brand new Nissan truck that he was so proud of. But he was also proud of how he could come help me put things together or fix that, because I don't have like 1/10 the acumen that he has as a handyman.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that kind of personifies the kind of guy he was with the game, especially with his craft. So proud of the catcher that he was and the tools that he had. And he had a good lineage. He came from a good high school program. John Myers at Arcadia High School had a lot to do with Byrne as well. But he's just one of those young men that just caught on to the game, found a passion for the game, and I think his love for that has led him to the things that he's doing now.
Two of the words that players and coaches have used describing him are empathy and compassion. Do you see that in him as well, towards his players, towards his coaches?
I think Byrne is, how should I say, he's uniquely empathetic and very caring. He's gruff on the outside. He's kind of like me. Kind of gruff on the outside.
Like a lot of you baseball
Yeah,
coaches.
and kind of gooey on the inside. And when push comes to shove, his heart will supersede any complications or frustration he has. He deeply cares about people, as you see in talking with Gabe and Nodder today. They just love the guy. Well, I think part of the reason they love the guy is they know that he loves them, and I think that's significant.
What are you most proud about in terms of the way you've seen him develop as a man, because before he was a mentor to all these kids and younger people, you and Skip were two of his biggest mentors. What are you most proud about in terms of what he's evolved into as a man and as a coach?
Well, I think for me, the word that always comes is leadership. I mean, the old adage: if you're going to lead, you got to look good on a horse. And not a whole lot of people look better on a horse than Byrne. I mean, he does a great job in all the leadership opportunities that he's had. I think that this recent situation where he coupled head coaching and athletic directorship at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing myself, having had both titles, there's no way, shape, or form that I could do both at the same time. So it's just such a testimony to the kind of guy he is, back to the kind of worker he is. He has work ethic. He put the roof on the house that we're standing in.
Okay.
He roofed our house. And I mean, he's just that kind of guy, from quote unquote a roofer to a collegiate athletic director. He just has a ton of leadership skills. And I think that kind of embraces all the things that these guys have talked to you about.
So last thing, you're talking to Scott right here. What would you want to say about his 500 wins? How proud you are of him?
Well, I think that he would be humbled. I think he's someone that understands that you don't get 500 wins unless you got good young men that get to first base and turn left more often than others. I'm just proud of the way that he's led, and the things that you hear today from his friends, his former players, his colleagues. You hear those kinds of things. I don't think it's strange that those kind of people lead young men to 500 victories. You can't, I don't think you can, quote unquote, be that guy on the horse unless you have those skills. And so his 500 wins are a neat byproduct because they do keep score and it matters when we're playing. But those things don't happen unless you have leaders like Scott Winterburn.
Okay.